Welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I'm Danielle D, or Coach Danni D, and I help women entrepreneurs and professionals to achieve their personal success stories that include joy, fulfillment, and balance. This is where we talk about how to build your business in a way that allows you to work with ease, be successful, and enjoy your life. My happy place is spending as much time in my PJs as humanly possible. And I want to help other women find their happy space while running profitable businesses or having a successful career. So get comfortable and let's dig in. Hello and welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I am your host, Coach Danni D, here helping you find that place of joy, fulfillment, balance, and your unique success story. So, God put a topic on my mind this morning, and when you hear it, just bear with me because it is not what you think. Um, the topic he put on my mind this morning is uh, thoughts and prayers, right? What is beyond the thoughts and prayers? And I know there's a lot going on in the world right now, and I know that that phrase has a certain meaning in that context. But that's not what I want to talk about today. If it's applicable in that way, more power to you. But that's not where I'm going with this today. I'm talking about us as individuals in our everyday life, in our walk, in our journey, in our assignment. What are we doing beyond thoughts and prayers? And how that came to me, what that, kind of means is as individuals, as business owners or career women, it can be something in your day-to-day life. It can be something in, your professional journey that you have thought to death, that it has been rinsed and repeated through the um overthinking cycle to the point that it is just tattered. That original idea, vision, thought that you had, that you were so excited about, that was, singing in your soul, that was so solid when you started this process, is now tattered. It has been shredded to pieces because you've let that overthinking part of yourself rip it apart before it ever got a chance to see the light of day. So, it's the equivalent of if you buy, this new outfit and that outfit is just, it looks great on you. You can't wait till X event to wear this outfit. And then you throw it in the wash. And then you throw it in the wash again. And you throw it in the wash again. And eventually the color has faded. The material has weakened because you never took action. You just stayed in thought, 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 thought. No action. And I've done it. There's some things that I don't want to say are, because I hope that I'm doing a better job at making sure not that current things in my life, but there are things that have sat on shelves for way longer than they needed to. There are things that I have, picked apart when I should have been moving forward, right? And I'm saying I hope that they're not. I know that there are some things that still are like that, but I'm trying to do better at and get you to do better at taking action. That's one of the things that I pride myself on is trying to go from, I'm not trying, because I will correct y'all for saying the word trying, going from idea to action, right? And not letting that linger, not overthinking that thing, not coming up with excuses, not, it's always easy for us to say life be life. And then sometimes life is life. But sometimes we was waiting for something to remove the pressure from having to take action, right? So that's the thought side of it. And as a coach, it is so frustrating sometimes to watch because sometimes it's a client and that doesn't have to happen often because I think um it's an alignment thing. I think most of my clients know that I'm action oriented. And so I tend to get action oriented clients. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody is running at full speed and doing a million things. They're moving at their own pace. They're doing things. And so, when we meet, there's always action that is happening and those things move them forward. And so that notice for the one that is sitting there listening to this thinking, getting overwhelmed by the concept of the action. Because I think that we think that the action has to be at NASCAR speed. It does not. But you're never going to see any progress unless you start moving. And I'll share a personal example, and I think that's why God put this on my mind this morning. So I have been for some time now, like trying to figure out some things that have been going on with me and, working with my doctor and, nothing, I mean, as far as I know, nothing serious. I mean, I've, run labs and all the stuff like that. And there's nothing that jumps out, oh, this is the thing, right? And, my doctor's very, she listens and she suggests things and we, go back and forth. But something said to me yesterday, I was, experiencing just like low energy yesterday, and something said, why don't you try something new? Why don't you, switch something up? And I had a conversation with my husband. We were messaging back and forth. And I said, you know what? I want to try this for about 2 weeks and see how it goes. And he said, well, how do you know 2 weeks is going to be enough time? I don't. I really don't. But I want to try something different as opposed to just being frustrated with the situation and the status quo. So we'll see how that goes. I'll circle back to y'all in 2 weeks and just give an update on that. But I had to get out of the thought process of, well, I hear this lines up with this, so this might be symptoms of that, or this, I had to get out of my head and get into action. So that's what I'm talking about when we're talking about these thoughts. And unfortunately, a lot of times, again, like this is not a new thing. This is something that I've been trying to crack the code on for a while, right? The same thing happens with, like I said, I kind of lost my train of thought where I was saying about, not always with my clients per se, every once in a while, but not so much. But people around me, people that I know, or people who have attempted to be clients in some cases, but I knew it wasn't a good fit because they weren't ready for action. And so I've had people who have like inquired of me. I've had people who have, who are just, I'm aware of what's going on in their world, that we've had discussions about what's going on and some potential solutions. And then I talk to them again in 6 months and we still talking about what's going on. And, a year, 2 years, 3 years pass and we're still there. And so that's getting out of the thoughts and getting into action because the same problem exists. The solutions haven't changed. Pick one and go. Pick one and go. It might not be the right one. And that's the thing I think where we get caught up in thought is we won't pick the right one the first time. It may not be the right one, but you're not going to ever get to the right one if you don't ever move. You will never get there if you don't ever move. So it may not be the right solution. Pick a solution. Give it time. And in my scenario, I said 2 weeks, but 2 weeks might not be long enough. I don't know. My husband said, well, it's 2 weeks long. It may not be. Then I'll add a third, you know, but pick a solution, give it time. One of the other things I see often is if it doesn't immediately work, all of a sudden that solution is trash. That's not the case. You didn't do all the things. Like if you can't be honest with yourself and say, you know what, I did everything that I could do to make this successful. Don't call it trash. Just say I did not commit. And maybe it's not the right solution for you to commit to because maybe it's not aligned with you. Or, hear me out, or maybe you are not committed to the growth necessary, the struggle necessary to get past the initial discomfort. I don't know which one is the answer, but I'm just throwing those options out there. Um, all right, so we talked about the thoughts. Let's talk about the prayers. So we have a tendency to pray for things that yet again we are not willing to work for. We won't take the action, but we won't keep praying and bothering God about it. And God hasn't said that you can't have the thing, but God says you got to move. I've used this analogy before. We want God to not only deliver the thing to us, we want Him to do inside delivery and set up an assembly while we sit in the cut. And it don't work like that. Not that God doesn't have the ability to do that, but that ain't what you pay for. You ordered it standard delivery and you want all of these perks and bells and whistles. And a lot of times, not saying that God doesn't sometimes deliver things in that way, but most things are not going to come to you in that way. And this is just my belief, but the reason why most things are not going to come to you in that way is because God has to know that you are ready for the thing that He is delivering. So God will bring it to you, but are you ready to take ownership of it? Are you ready to maintain it? Are you ready to build it? Some assembly required. The the growth is in the journey. And that's not saying that the journey has to be struggleville, but the journey is important. The journey is where you solidify things, right? Even if God was going to come and deliver it and assemble it and put it up and do all those things, have you cleared a space for it? Have you prepared for the thing that you're asking God to deliver? Or are you just praying? We have to get past that. We have to start moving. What is it? Faith without works, right? We have to start doing the work. And that is showing, we say, oh, well, my God is capable. Yep. But if you had, go back to the analogy, y'all know I'm an analogy girl. If you had ordered this thing to come and come into your life, all the bells and whistles and fully assembled, and you believed it, you had faith, right? You got the faith. You believe that my God can do things outside of what I can imagine. You got the faith. If you had the faith, wouldn't you prepare the space? If you knew that it was coming, you might not know the day or the hour, right? You knew it was coming. Would you not then go and clear off the space so that when that delivery came and that setup came, assembly came, there was a place prepared for it to be? So we have to move beyond thoughts and prayers. We have to move. We have to become action oriented. Stop complaining about what you're not willing to do something about. And I'm a firm believer in prayer. I sit with God in prayer every morning. And I've mentioned before in a couple of recent episodes about how I've changed how I pray. And that change not only has changed how I feel, but it's also changed how I move. And the change in how I pray is I've learned to pray from a more honest place. I pray to God from how I am feeling. Lord, today I'm uncertain. Help me with my walk. Help me move forward in the direction that you have selected for me. Help me to quiet my uncertainty as I move forward. You see how there's a honesty there of how I feel, what I believe I need in that moment. And he might say, yeah, that ain't it. But this is how I feel. This is what I think I need. And then there's action as I move forward. Because I can't stand still and cry about everything that comes, into my mind, every thought of
And those are human thoughts. There's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with them. But we need to be able to overcome those things to continue to move forward. Action, action. So, where are you stuck? Where are you either in overthought or you ain't even thinking about it at all? Because you like, I prayed on it. You just like just decided you didn't need to do nothing else. Where are those things in your life? Pick one. Pick one. Don't try to do all of them right now today. Don't get so convicted that you're just running at everything. Pick one thing. Pick one thing and pull it off that shelf and start moving on it. Start moving on it. If you didn't put it through the thought cycle so many times that it then ripped into tatters, it might be time to reorder it. At this point you might have to reorder that 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 idea, that thought, that vision. You may have to, because that one you done ripped it to shreds. Let's go back to the drawing board. Remember what was the original connection? What was the passion? Let's throw all those notes and everything else. Let's put those to the side because you didn't ruined it. But it's not over. You can reorder. You ever had to reorder your favorite, you got your favorite whatever item it is, whatever garment, and you love it so much that when it gets tattered, you go buy another one because you really just love it that much, right? There was something there in that thing. There was a passion there. So let's revisit that. Let's revisit the passion. Let's revisit what God told you and why He told you needed to move on that. And let's start moving. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You may not make all the right choices. You won't. I ain't gonna say you may not. You won't. You won't make all the right choices, but it's not until you make choices that you can get to where you need to go. Make a choice. If it's wrong, then that's data. Throw it out, pick the next one, and keep going. But just sitting thinking about stuff is not getting you anywhere. It's not getting you anywhere. And I don't want to talk to you 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now, and you're still in that same spot. It's frustrating. I know it's frustrating for me because I'm action oriented and I don't I like to see progress, right? I love to see progress. And so I know I've been there where I'm like, man, what happened to that? Why am I stumbling with this thing? And sometimes it's because it is the thing that you need to be doing. And there's fear associated with that. And that's okay. That's what coaches are for, to help you navigate that fear, to call it out, to help you go through that process. That's what we're here for. Anybody can give you the steps, but it's the support you need in executing them. But yes, I'm gonna leave you with that. I want you to find that thing that you have either beat up to death through all that thought process, or you just keep praying that it's gonna magically show up, but you ain't been doing an ounce of work for. Pull it off the shelf. Take some action today. We're not waiting for Monday. We ain't waiting for a new month. We're not waiting for that. If the only action you do today is to go and sit and journal and brainstorm and reconnect to that thing, that is an action. And then tomorrow, take another action. Every day, taking some action to try to move this along. That's your assignment. That's your assignment. We are becoming action oriented. All right. That's what I got for you today. In the world of workflow, the doors have opened for the Own Your Business Academy. So, if you are struggling with getting action oriented in building your business foundation, you need to be in this space. You need to be in this space. It is a 6 month program. I call it an academy because we are running through it like you would a semester at school. Um, each month, we are handling a different business topic, and it's broken down into little small chunks because we're busy. One, we're busy, and two, what I know and what I incorporate in all of my programs is there needs to be a coupling of knowledge and action. So if you are consuming all of this content, but you're not taking action, you're going to have overload and you're going to get into that rinse and repeat cycle of overthinking. Learn it, do it, learn it, do it, learn it, do it. That's how it's set up. So there are small modules and small action steps that build up to something big. The benefit of it is I'm just as down to earth in that environment as I am here. I'm not trying to prove to you um, that I could say all the big words and do all the big things because I want you to understand it. That's my objective. I want you to walk away. I don't need you to walk away knowing, how many SAT words I know. I really don't. I need you to walk away with knowledge that you didn't have before. I need you to walk away understanding concepts that maybe you've heard before, but you never fully got. So that's the objective, is for you to come away from it understanding and being able to implement it in your business so that you can see a difference. And what I've seen from past students has been amazing because once they get it, then it's like they just run with it. And I've seen, you know, businesses go from a very new business to being connected deeply with their ideal client and doing huge, huge things. So if you struggle with the business side of things, if when people talk about branding, do you just think it's the logo and the colors? You're missing the mark. Just that one module alone of branding, one is worth the price of admission, well beyond the price, to be honest with you. But two, getting that part right, huge. Because you are now attracting clients as opposed to chasing clients. Because you've created an environment that those clients see you and know that y'all are the right fit. So again, if that's something that you've been complaining about since you started the business and you're not enrolled, I don't understand what's happening because the price point is very favorable. It's $97 a month for a 6 month program that also includes one-on-one, I mean not one-on-one, group coaching. So there's going to be 2 group coaching sessions per month. So your opportunity to speak with me and with your peers about things that may be still unclear after you have gone through the process and exercises. All right, so those classes start on the 29th. So it's the 23rd today. Get enrolled. I have officially released the CEO Safe Space Retreat to the public. I gave a little time for my past clients and um, to have an opportunity to sign up first, but there's still some seats available. So if you are a business owner, a career woman, you don't have to be a CEO. It's just that's the title. It was catchy. But if you are in leadership and you are looking to be poured into as a person, not as, not in the capacity of us, getting into the leadership skills per se. This is about you as a person. This is about you having a space to unpack some of that stuff, to heal, to process, to um, build your blueprint so that you can still serve, still have success, but have a holistic success because you're looking at yourself in the equation, not just the accomplishments. So that's going to be in March of 2026, but I'm releasing it now so that people have time for payment plans and all those things like that. Um, so it's only 10 spots. So if that's something you're interested in, fill out the application so that you can be considered and potentially selected to be a part of this experience. And then the day after that retreat, I'm going to be hosting a summit. Now, I haven't released that yet. That is still in preparation, right? So as soon as I have the main details, I will release that as well. And that's going to be a 1-day event here in New Orleans that is going to be business focused. We're going to have, so the retreat and the summit are both under the umbrella of the podcast, right? So we're going to have some of the, some of your favorite past podcast guests come and speak on the different topics of their expertise to help you solidify the business and just, grow again holistically as a business owner and redefine that idea of success. Those who attend the retreat will automatically get a ticket to the summit. And that's up to them if they want to stay and attend the summit as well, but they'll automatically get a ticket to that. All right, so that's what I got for you guys. I got a lot. I have a lot that I need to be working on, so I'm gonna leave y'all with that. That's why you're getting a Thursday episode. I apologize, but there's a lot going on in both businesses and in just in life. And so I'm just keeping the pace, but also honoring myself and rest and all of that. So um as always, all of these links will be in the show notes, and I will see you guys next week.
Thanks for listening to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I hope you got some great tips to start working with these. Want to stay connected? Follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. For more information about creating balance in your life, register for my upcoming calendar detox challenge at CoachDanniD.com. Don't forget to subscribe, join the community, and book a call to find the workflow program that best fits your needs.